Hey, it's Lindsay Roberts. I know my screencast is like very close again, but anyhow, so this is my cred application, so you can sign up or sign in, whichever one. So we'll sign up so I can show you the create and update and stuff. And I know we did this in class, but whatever. So I'm gonna do my grandma because she's not in the database yet. So this is all her stuff. There we go. And then I'm just going to do password for the password. Oh, and if I don't if I type in the wrong password, like there's validation and stuff. And if I don't type in anything, right there. So we'll go back and password. And then I don't have a file for her, so I'm just going to upload one of my snakes. Okay, and then you can go ahead and register. Then it'll go ahead and it'll take you to your account page where it'll say welcome, and then it'll show some information. And then you can go to the edit users. This will log you out. Real quick though, like if you go back to the localhost page, it'll automatically bring you back to the dashboard if your session is logged in. But if you logged out, like obviously you can go back. So also with the sign in, if you don't do anything, it'll error out on you if you do the wrong one, see. So log in, go back to edit users, and then this is the user administration. It kind of shows you like, this is the default, what happens if you don't have any images stolen from Google. And here it's kind of got like a little preview of the thumbnail, and then you can display some extra information. So edit, this is the edit feature, and you can like edit it. So and what's really cool is that like you don't have to edit all of them. Like if you just want to edit the one, you can. And now you'll go ahead and see that it's now updated. Or like maybe if I wanted to do all of them, see, you could do all of them too. And then like if I wanted to delete one, let's just delete this one because this one's boring. It has a confirmation. It says, are you sure you want to delete this record? And you can say yes. Or you can be like, hey, are you sure you want to delete this record? And you can say no, it won't do anything. And then we can log out. So that's my credit application. Oh yeah, one cool thing. This is going to be for my student lecture today, was those custom error pages. And yeah, so I guess this is not the page you're looking for, and it doesn't matter, like, if you type in whatever, like, it'll always do that. And then I used it so that it gets the URL of, like, whatever you typed in, and then, it'll try to, like, redirect you to login or register to view our features. So, happy with it. Gonna use it as kind of like a this is what I can do with Python, like little demo type thing on my portfolio, just to show that I'm capable of doing stuff with Python or something. So, so yeah, there it is, my Python credit. Alright, so I totally forgot to do like the code stuff. Alright, so here's my app configuration. Like this is basically where I'm importing all the libraries that I'm using. My app flask, my security key for the sessions. This is how I did my custom 404, which is kind of going to be like my little student lecture. While I get this done. Okay, so here's my routes, and okay, so this is the index. This is all pretty much the same thing. Basically, checking to see if they're authorized with the session. It's going to redirect to my account. Otherwise, it's just going to display the page. Here's my login method, and this is all pretty much the same. Login success, true. Set the session, whatever. This is all pretty much the same. The sign up. This just is redirecting, like loading that register.html thing. The route register actually checks, so here we go. basically it's checking all the fields to see if they've even been like entered, and the only one that's not required is going to be like the avatar, because maybe some people don't have one, but all that other information people should have. So basically, if request method is post x, else it's gonna return this like fatal error, which is just kind of like a generic error. Let me get rid of that. Okay. Just because spacing. So, and then if it's gonna go through and it's gonna check each one of these form fields to make sure they're filled in. If those are all good, then it's gonna check to make sure that the passwords match, and if that's good, then it's gonna go ahead and process the data. So here we have the file path, and basically if they didn't upload one, it's going to use this default image, which I stole from Google. Otherwise, it's going to go ahead and use the file name. Then it's going to go ahead and hash the password, and then we're going to like store the data in this data object, and then we're going to make a new connection. So here's my cursor statement, insert any users, all the data, all the variables, and that's where I fill in the blanks. It's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, I don't know what else you want me to say. I get the ID from the last row. That way I can go ahead and set the session current ID, because it's pretty much how I do with everything. And then I just redirect to my account. You notice it doesn't have an ID because I have a get ID and we got the session. So otherwise, it's going to return an error, and as you can see, there's different error codes. I set it up so that I can return this error code, and instead of like a huge long message. So anyhow, this is all nice and done and pretty. And then the error fatal, that's just kind of like a generic message. So here's the delete, and it's going to pass in the user ID. So it's basically checking if the session is authorized, so making sure that the user is even logged in and allowed to delete. Then it's going to go ahead and create the connection, create the cursor, statement delete from users where ID is equal to that. And then you have to do this because it always expects more than one parameter, so that's why that's like that. And then you go ahead and pass in the ID as a tuple and commit, and it's happy. So then after that, you do the redirect, and then again, it's doing login errors like 1003, and I forget what that is, but you can see right here, and you must be logged in to do that. So basically it's going to tell them you must be logged in to do that if they're trying to delete a user and they're not logged in. So then we have my account, which is really cool because it's basically checking to see if there's a session, and if they're authorized, then it's going to get the user by the current ID from the session, and then it's going to return the template with the data. Otherwise, that means they're not logged in, and it's going to return another, you must be logged in to do that. So continuing on, this is the admin/user. So again, checking to make sure that they're logged in. Otherwise, we're going to get all the users, made a function for it, and then it's going to render the template, and we're going to pass in the data. I mean, this is really just like rinse and repeat. Okay, so this is my update users. It's going to require UID. And the way I did this was a little bit different because I didn't want them to have to fill in all the form fields. It could be like any one that they wanted to do, or combination thereof. So it basically just checks what for which ones, and then I have some JavaScript extra to basically, so that if they don't put in anything, well then it's just not even going to bother submitting. So but if they put in something, it's going to check here for which, then it'll do each one, because this was just the most efficient way to go about doing it, instead of a bunch of if and else statements, just checking them once. And then running that each time. So then it'll redirect, else again you don't have permission to do that. Here's my error handling for both the login errors and the sign up errors, because they both kind of have like different ones. So here's my codes and corresponding messages. They both have this generic something broke, please try again message. Like for example, if we don't know what it is, or if it's something obscure, like something weird, like they're using get variables instead of post variables or something like that. Tampering and whatnot. Anyhow, so return render template for both of them. My logout function, you just clear the session and redirect to the root. new connection, new cursor. These are all my functions that I made just to kind of like simplify this process a little bit. I made one to hash the password. Here's my get all users, so you can get all the users, and then it just returns, all of them, and then this returns a user. You see what I mean? Like I don't know what else to say. It's so easy. Okay, so login user, email and password. Like it's the same thing 5 million times. It's very, very simple. I don't know how many times I have to explain it, but there you go. And oh yeah, you might want to see like my stuff. Like so, here's how I display the error messages, like that, and it's the same thing like over here, And this is like supplemental CSS and stuff, and whatnot. So, like if there was an error message, this is the welcome data username for the profile thingy. This is like my buttons for logging out and editing the user. And first name, last name, email. I mean, it's so simple. Users. This is how I did the users. I basically have a for loop which creates each one of those rows, and it displays all the datas. And then I'm passing, for example, I have these modals down here, and I'm passing in the data through these, and you can see how I do that. And then when I click on it, that data gets passed into these modals, like for the stuff. So like for example, I don't know what my password is. Alright, well, let's do this one. Okay, so here's grandma's. We're going to go in. If I were to go here, and if I were to edit this, I mean, you can see how it's like filling in this data. That's using the data stuff. Oh, admin/users. I wanted to show you that slide. So, like, if we try to go there, that it gives us that you must be logged in to do that error. So, yeah, I think that's it for my app. I'm sorry I keep forgetting to do code stuffs. Oh, here's my cool 404 page and request URL and all that kind of stuff. All right, so anyhow, that's all the awesomeness for today. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.